Welcome to People's Distinctive Travels Podcast, starring
Overlord of Fresh.
Ultramag7 People's Distinctive Travels Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to People's Distinctive Travels, or as Sugar Bear called it.
Distinctive People's Travels.
Right.
Which I'm fine with, by the way.
It was great.
Yeah.
The interview with Sugar Bear was great.
Yep. Even just listening to some of the bits with him, just like super hyped about, his perspective and how perfectly he kind of fits our vision, and I hope he feels, that we captured him well and, we're telling his story in a respectable way.
And, we're excited for you guys to hear it. We tracked down Sugar Bear, who you may know from Don't Scandalize Mine and Ready to Penetrate, songs big from the late 80s. He sat down with Fresh and I to talk about, he gave us his whole story. And he tells a great story.
He sure does.
He sure does.
He has such an ability to think back, but then reach forward at the same time. It's like he's always organizing his thoughts before he says them.
Absolutely.
What does he keep saying throughout? It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There's all these little themes and mantras that he uses that totally make sense. Totally makes sense.
There's a wisdom there.
Yep.
There's a lot of wisdom there.
And I feel like it's a perfect way to approach episode 5.
Absolutely.
Our first interview with someone who has a great story, and in a way, it's a story that really hasn't been told too much.
I think we got some exclusive information here. Yeah. In episode 5. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting
Crazy,
up there.
Right? Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
We're growing up. But yeah, so the episode kind of starts off with Sugar Bear giving us some of his own musical history leading up to the point where he started recording, and then kind of sets us up for part 2, which will actually be episode 6. So you have to hang on for that too. But that's kind of what you could expect from this episode.
Yeah, so we got a two-parter. So
Two-parter.
We hope you enjoy this episode. Our first interview with Sugar Bear, the Powerful Powerlord.
The Powerful Powerlord. Can you say by yourself, so we're going to hold off, whatever version of People's Distinctive Travels comes naturally to you? One more time. I just want to see how it shows up here.
Distinctive People's Travel.
Yeah, we're all on the same level. So that's
Okay.
good. Volume-wise and mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Get it.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. Yeah. It's recording. I just, I felt like there was a little something happening, so I just let it go,
Distinctive People's Travels, take 1.
Distinctive People's Travels. I would say we're distinctive people,
We're distinctive something.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll get it started off. And
You gonna start?
We'll
Go for it. Yeah.
we'll pick up.
Here's a little story. Here's a little story. Here's a little story that must be told.
So, we have a very special episode today for 2 particular reasons. So, number 1, we're in beautiful Hackensack, New Jersey, at Hackensack Brewing. That's owned and operated by my good friend Mike Jones. Mike Jones. So we're here, and it's our first episode on location. You're doing big things, Mr. Fresh.
On the come up.
Yeah.
By the way, I like how you said that. Hackensack.
That's
sound
my,
like a commercial.
That's my, that's a slick talk voice.
Yeah.
But we're here on location at beautiful Hackensack, New Jersey, Hackensack Brewing. If you're in the area, if you're in the beer and you're in the area, North Jersey area, hey, you might be from New York. You might just be somebody who goes to different breweries. But we are here. I believe it's Lagerfest today. But they have so many different types of beers. They have lagers, porters, stouts, anything you can name. And they do beautiful work with their beers. Some fine crafters here.
But we say in the hood, many flavors, baby.
Many flavors.
We got flavors.
But And I must state this on record. This is my favorite brewery in the world. me and Mike Jones have a little back and forth with that. This is my favorite brewery in the world. It's on. I'm recorded, Mike. It's official now. But now, the second reason that we have this is a very special episode. This is our first interview, Mr. Fresh.
That's right.
So we now it turns into a 3-man. Pause.
Okay. Watch your mouth.
But
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. But now, we somehow tracked down a man who's been elusive. But he's elusive, but we have an exclusive. We have
Got
tracked
bars.
down Sugar Bear,
One
the
time
powerful
for your
Powerlord. And we're going to get into his story. We're going to, definitely going to talk some Long Island history, his history, music, where he's been, what's going on with him now. And we're going to flip this whole story around and get all this information from my brother here. So, Fresh, let's get into it.
With no further ado,
No further ado.
Don't scandalize mine.
I'll be forced to penetrate.
So
Pause.
So Bear, what's happening, brother? How you doing?
Ain't nothing, man. It's a pleasure meeting you, man.
Yeah,
I follow
brother.
you on that Ultramag on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then when I saw you post something with the Don't Scandalize mine, I was like, yo, gee.
Yeah.
I gotta catch up with this kid right here. Word up.
Yeah, and then we talked before about when I was on Instagram Live, and I was on live. You popped into the live, and I'm like, yo, what the heck is Bear doing in here? And then we started chopping it up, and I was telling you, we got a podcast, and I wanted you to be our first guest.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
you
he
our
told
first
me that
guest.
right away.
That's
I think
a
that
fact.
same day. Yeah.
And the
That's a
thing,
fact.
I was fighting. I said, we can't have nobody else. I said, I gotta have Sugar
Right.
Bear.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't a promise neither.
No,
it was just we want you to be the first guest. So
that's
I
right.
made sure.
But I
that
was like, we gotta do this.
definitely had to be available for that.
Yeah,
man.
and
we
we
appreciate you, man.
No, we appreciate you,
It's
brother.
an honor
Yeah.
to be on your
Oh, it is an honor for us.
Distinctive People's
Thank you.
Travel podcast, man.
Yes.
It
Yes.
really is.
And we are big, we're big fans. So
Appreciate it, man.
obviously you can see the stuff we put on our page,
Yes.
everything. So we're big
Yes.
fans.
I have my wife and my 8-year-old son watching your video, and
The actual the 1988
yes,
video?
yep,
And
and
how
and
was
I
the
love
kid?
hearing them commenting on what they're seeing. It's very cool.
How old's your kid?
8 years old.
Okay, so there's the big Blue House video of, it's like the puppetry.
Oh, okay.
It's the big bear Blue House Playhouse or something like
Okay.
that. That's on YouTube. Somebody posted
And
also.
it has that music behind
Have
it.
your 8-year-old look at that.
Oh,
Okay.
that's okay.
Because
That's cool.
Put Don't Scandalize mine lyrics over.
Nice.
And they edited where it looked like the puppet
Okay,
is
okay.
singing the lyrics. So
Oh, that's crazy.
I like him to see the videos though that I grew up on. You
That's
know, like
good.
the originals.
that's good.
Because he knows kind of where it's coming from for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Music is the universal language,
We were talking a little on the way up, and I think I might have asked you. It sounds like you have a little familiarity with the People's Distinctive Travels podcast, right?
Yeah, I've been popping in and out,
Mhm.
to see what it was about to prepare myself,
Okay, good.
And I see I have a lot of, the topics are, definitely important, especially when y'all are on the topic of today's music and, back in the day's music, try to, to keep it at a level. Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a problem with today's music at all. You know what I'm saying? Because it started with us back in the days, I started writing in the 70s, but I was part of the creative process of watching hip hop form.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it really started from only talking about what you know about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's what's happening in today's music, where it's more broader.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up about current music, because, I could go off about the whole concept of old school, because obviously my partner and I, we have a deep love for, early hip hop and how that's kind of led to where we are now. But I kind of feel like old school is like a misnomer in a way, right? Because like to me, when hip hop first came out, it was like there was no blueprint for it. So how could the people who basically create the blueprint for hip hop, how could we refer to them as old? Like it was all new, right? Like they weren't copying anything; they were
That's a
creating
fact.
their own, thing.
Exactly.
So there was no. There was nothing to even compare. You couldn't even sample yourself at that point. I always think about EPMD and how like they would always have on their second album, they would have references back to their first album, mixed into the music. But when hip hop first came out, you couldn't do that. There wasn't anything to sample. It was like you were starting it. But Aaron and I were Ultramag and I we're kind of funny about how we use our names and stuff.
Right.
But
Not my government.
yes.
My mama didn't name me that.
But we were talking on the way up about, we do kind of tend to reflect, music that's been around for a while, but we still want to have that connection to where we are now too, and show love, but also have a critical thought process about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which I think is exactly what you just did in the first, 5 minutes of the conversation. So I
Everybody
appreciate
has
that.
their
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean? So there's these young kids, it's their day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
But, to go back on Overlord, the blueprint. And that's where we don't have them to see, to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we would have artists from back then, more established today.
Right. I get
If it was,
yeah.
if they was to recognize.
Yeah.
I felt like that, from the beginning when doing music, I was, let's say, music's my first love. It's for some reason it calms the savage beast in me, and that's part of my creative process in music. I gotta have the beat. I feel what the beat is doing, because I listen to music completely different than everybody else, because I'm also a musician.
Right.
Okay, I can play Lean On Me not fluently on the piano, but I know the chords.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bass line, Slide by not Cameo. Name on the tip of my tongue.
You said what?
Slide. Yeah,
That's, no, and I know what you're talking about.
Not that. That's Slide, Slippity Slide.
No,
R.I.P. to Coolio.
I know what
You
you're
know
talking
what I'm
about.
saying? That's Lakeside.
Yeah.
Slide was by this funk group back in the days, and I play that bass line, so I know how to play on the bass line. Money, For the Love of Money by the OJs, I play that on the guitar. But I don't play chords or nothing. It's like I find it myself, So that's where the beginning of playing by ear. But what I really know how to play is drums, and I don't play that fluently, but I have the coordination.
It's
You
interesting.
understand what I'm saying?
That makes sense to me, actually.
So when I'm listening to music, growing up, was the bands in the garage, in the basement, and all that stuff.
Right.
Mimicking off of the records that was out back then in the 70s and all that. I'm a 62 baby, you know what I mean? So listening to, watching the bands and play, so I can air guitar, anything. I can air drums, anything. Violins, I can air it too. It doesn't matter. I hear all of that when I'm listening to music. So that's the first thing that affects me. And there'll be one part in a track that I hear that I love, that affects me. I think, was that the algorithm part or whatever of a track? Something that catches you.
Get you moving.
My favorite part could be at the end of the record when it's fading to black. Let it go. But like I was saying, man, it's that blueprint. That's what's missing today for the new artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree that from other areas of podcasts, where the distinctive, why the younger generation disrespects the older generations, because the older generation disrespected the young generation. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
As the old generation, if we're listening to music, music is music.
Yeah.
And, I mean, keep it 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music is music. So why are we judging the next person's music?
Well, and to get back to what you were saying about labels, we shouldn't label it by these people have been doing it for a long time, these people are new. You know what I mean? That's not that's not about the music. That's just us. You know, there was a time when we didn't even know what the people look like when they release music. Now we have so much access. We can see, you know, them on social media or whatever. But how about let's just hear the music and make a judgment based on that, not on what they look like or, you know, it's their first album versus their 10th album. Yep.
Listen to the music.
So I want to go back to what you were saying about you being a musician and you start
How I
with
listen to
the music. You know, that's interesting to me. So a couple things jump out to me, because one of the things about People's Distinctive Travels that I kind of hold dear to myself is the fact that we kind of want to get more into that personal narrative, you know, and understand. I want to know who you are, you know what I mean? And I think it's interesting to hear maybe how you might have had similar experiences to me, but just, you know, different theme or different concept or whatever, you know what I mean? So going back to music, so you sort of made like a couple references, but what was the earliest music when you were young that you remember that really kind of captured your ear?
All right. For me was the 70s, sounds of the 70s.
Okay.
And like I said earlier, I'm a 62 baby, so I was cut from the, you know, the Motown sound and listening to all the other artists that was coming out, like, you know, the Al Greens, you know, Soul Train played an important part back then. But with me, like I said, music calms the savage beast in me. So during the 70s, it was this run with the slow jams. And we're talking the falsetto notes, stylistics, Blue Magic, Black Ivory, Delphonics. That's what I grabbed a hold of. I mean, to this day, if I was to have a show, in the dressing room will be those songs, knowing that I'm about to go out, get on stage and do a hyped ass record.
I love it.
Because I like to be cool, calm, you know. You know, it's just something that, you know, I was into. So back then, there was this record called by the Spinners, Everybody Plays a Fool.
Okay.
That was my first actual record I had
Wow.
on my closing play, which was the first toy record player.
Nice.
Oh.
Wow.
So Everybody Plays the Fool was my first record, was my shit.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because of the beginning part. That boom, doom, 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 boom, doom, 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 boom, boom, doom, boom, down, doom, 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 doom. So right there, see, from that point on, I knew that I like a record on the one. It's got to be on. You got to smack. I'm not gonna wait for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it over. You got to hit me on the one. You know what I'm saying? But that from there came the alphabets, Jackson 5. Okay, because I was always a Jackson 5 fan. My last name is Jackson.
Okay.
And I was singing before the hip-hop shit. So as a little kid, I was singing every record that the Jackson 5 ever made. I still got all their records.
Wow.
On cassette and CDs.
Wow.
Every record they ever made. You know?
It's Jackson.
This is from the Jackson 5 to the Jacksons.
Yes.
I have all the albums.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
You know, and that's what did it right there. The Jackson 5, watching Michael Jackson.
Well, you later sampled that, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that we'll
Right.
get to that.
So doing those, you know, during that era, like the 70s, it was all the slow jams that was being played, you know, and watching the neighborhood bands. I love it.
So you remember some of those neighborhood bands, like you know,
yeah. Any of the names?
Offhand, I was living on 201st Street in Murdoch, and 115th, which was St. Albans, Queens.
Okay.
Same area. I'm like the same radiance as Run DMC. We went to the same Catholic school, St. Pascal's, right there in St. Albans. They went too, but I didn't know them at that time.
Okay.
But I'm hearing that in their biographies. I'm like, wow, it's a small world. You know what I'm saying? And which, once again, this is the area now. 205th Street, Hollis,
Right.
Farmers Boulevard. Murdoch is off of Farmers Boulevard. So if I was to walk up to Farmers Boulevard and make a right, now I'm in front of the red, black, green rock, where the area that LL is from. Now, mind you, I'm before these guys, though. I'm older than these guys.
Right.
You know?
Wow, that's great. You
yeah.
just blew my mind with
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that connection.
Yeah.
So
I love
for
how
me,
you
it
localize
messed me
that.
up
That's
when
pretty
I was
cool.
like,
Yeah.
watching the transition of hip hop coming out of Queens.
Right.
And where I was at with that, went to 192. 192 is Hollis. 205th Street, right there across the street.
So now at this time, were you in Queens or were you coming
Commuting
in
back
from
and
Long Island?
forth?
Yeah. So
At
explain
this
that.
at this time, no, I was in Long Island, but that was my last summer, 79. The year 79
Right.
was my last summer in Queens, because I was just out there for the summer at my
Oh,
mom's
okay,
house.
okay. All right. That's interesting.
But this is when Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and Sweet Sensation, Stephanie Mills, I remember those records distinctly. But at that time also, what I was visualizing, the DJs, the block parties and the DJs. That was only in Queens. It wasn't in Long Island yet. We didn't see that.
Okay. So who
I didn't see it yet.
Right. Do you remember some of those names back then at those block parties?
There was this one dude that I knew who shocked me, you know what I'm saying, finding out that he DJ'd. And once again, everybody's snatching names and all that stuff, but his name was Sidney Harris.
Okay.
One of my boys I grew up with in Queens. And went to his house, he come to my house, it doesn't matter. But then come back another year, and he's DJing, and his name is Kid Flash. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? He's a DJ. Still not accumulating what's this storm about to happen. I wasn't accumulating none of that stuff. I'm already zoned out about watching DJ and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this, mind you, once again, this is 70s.
So you didn't know what was
the
about
same
to
year
happen.
that Michael Jackson dropped that first album. It's
Yeah.
Off the Wall.
Off
The
the
Don't
Wall, yeah.
Stop Till You Get Enough.
Right.
79.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I started seeing, I guess I can't say I started like, okay, this is what I wanted to do. No. This is when the music transformation started happening with me. Watching that happen. I was getting out of the stylistics and Blue Magic and all that.
So you
I
saw
still kept
it
it.
from there.
I was watching it from the beginning, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm cut from that cloth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So did you have, you mentioned a lot of the falsetto and R&B. Did you have a certain hip hop song that kind of, when you heard it, it just, you mentioned the word transformation.
So when the
sort of-
transformation
yeah.
happened, right. Okay, so when the transformation happened with the, actually hearing, never went to the clubs, never been to the Fever, never been to all the clubs that was, except for Latin Quarters. But never been to the Rooftop and all the way to hip hop, fellas was at and all that stuff where it was really going down. I only been at Latin Quarters. But when I first heard on the record, and they will always be my number ones. I don't care. I respect to the guard, Rakim, he's from Strong Island and all that stuff. Big Daddy Kane, all of those they want to give that to. I'm still I always stay stuck to my guns with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 was the first one. Then came Funky 4 plus One More, featuring Sha-Rock, for those that don't know what that one more means. And the Treacherous 3.
Okay.
Those were the three artists that I gravitated to. The 5, none of y'all can mess with the 5. Grandmaster Cass and them came later because and Cold Crush Brothers, they came later for me when I started hearing the tapes.
Right.
I didn't hear tapes of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, nor the Treacherous 3. I mean, yeah, well, the Kumo D one with Busy B, you know, that tape came out, you know, and I definitely didn't hear no tapes with the Funky Four. Matter of fact, I was in front of my TV watching the Funky Four on Saturday Night Live.
Wow. I remember, I remember.
You understand what I'm saying? So, but, you know, at the end of the day, I could definitely put Cold Crush Brothers, you know, Grandmaster Cass, my boy, you know what I'm saying? They definitely play a part in my hip-hop top 4.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, Funky 4 plus one more, Treacherous 3, and the Cold Crush Brothers. Ain't no, I can't go no further than that.
Good
then I'll
list.
be just, you know, living on live excitement. You know what I'm saying?
What was it? I mean, it's probably more than one thing, but what was it that you really resonated with you about those artists? Because you mentioned the voice early on, you know, that falsetto voice. Was that part of it with them, the voices, or something different?
Definitely. It's always the voice. If it's distinctive, you know what I'm saying? And now I could do all the groups that I really like, you know what I'm saying? They go into Brand Nubians. Out of the Brand Nubians, who I'ma like better than Pooh Bar?
Right.
Who? It's a question.
You said,
Sadat.
oh, that voice, yeah.
The voice.
Sadat has that distinctive
Absolutely.
voice.
Yes.
I'm kinda blessed, so I wrote this manifesto for life. Co-signed by the office with a knife.
You know what I'm saying? Like this voice and the way, it's not what he says, how he said it.
Yeah, he has that ill voice.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
That threw me off. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, later on down the line, you know, you had my boy Kool Keith
That's my favorite MC.
from Stetsasonic.
Ultramagnetic.
I meant Ultra, my
Yeah,
bag.
No, you
Yo,
good.
Keith, man, my bag, man.
Let's go.
We had Lagerfest. But yeah.
To be fair,
my
the
bag,
word Sonic is in there. I mean, that
that's
sounds
where-
like something
that's
he
where
would be
it threw
in.
me
Yeah.
off.
I remember when Keith said when the song came out, they was mixing Ultramagnetic and Stetson. I call him the Stetson Magnetic.
That's
Yeah.
a magnetic, yeah.
People used to get us mixed up in the streets. It's, ain't you from that group, Stetson Magnetic, Stetson Scenic, Ultramag7? Like, so it got a little complicated.
Ultra has a lot to play in that
Yeah.
too, right?
But what you were saying about, like, you're talking about the voices. Did you
That's
gravitate?
something different. I'm gonna play it because the wordplay game came in with Kool Keith.
Right.
All right, so you had Flash in them. How their voices went in and out. We're gonna make 5 MCs sound like one. You gotta dip, dive, so a lot. Clean out the ear, then open your eyes, then pay at the door. As a donut. That right there. First, what?
Right.
Bone Thugs and Harmony. The harmony. The voices. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they wasn't doing, I mean, they were doing what Grandmaster Caz and them was doing. You know, Caz was taking actual songs and putting his own vocals on the melody of the song. You know what I'm saying? But when Flash and them did it, it was a party night. Everybody was breaking in the house, was screaming in the bay. That was their shit.
Yeah.
That was their melody. So I was like, oh yeah, wait a minute, hold on, we got something. I like this. And it won't be long. So yeah, it's definitely the distinctive voice and sound.
Voices.
And I think, like I said earlier about me being a musician in music, because the guitar is gonna have its own sound.
Yeah.
The bass or chords on the keyboard gonna have its own sound. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those were the little elements that mess with me. And it went with the 3 too. Treacherous 3, same thing.
Oh, that's okay. Cool
You know what I'm saying?
All right,
Word.
sunshine. Yeah.
They did the pointer scissors joint. Tell me Kumo D can. You know I can. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And they were precise. But I only heard Crow Crush on cassette tapes doing their shows. They was out there battling. So there was the difference between the 5, the 4 plus 1, and the 3. I don't know of them battling.
Yeah, they
knew
had
they
the record
had
deal.
records.
Yeah,
Right, they
had
recorded,
records.
yeah.
Yeah, they had recorded.
You know what I'm saying? But can't mess with Cold Crush because later on they finally came out with that Bad Fly Bowl.
Yeah. That the weekend, all that. Yep. Yeah.
That track was crazy when I heard that. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. When I heard that, it was no simple boom, bat, boom, bat, boom, boom, bat. That's it. You know, it just went to the left, the pauses and all that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So that changed the diameter with them. For me, you know what I'm saying, when I heard them on Wax. But to know Cass's background and where everything came from, we got to put them in the top 4. Ain't no 5. Top 4 for me. It's just top 4. I ain't going to put no 5. They got me doing what you don't like hearing, I gotta be. Give me a second. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Don't want to be doing that.
That's good. 5 is arbitrary anyway.
You're supposed to know immediately who your people's is.
I know, right?
When you go to besides, there ain't no commercial breaks right now, bro.
Ain't
Word.
straight through.
Exactly.
So when did you start writing your own rhymes, or say I'm going to get on the mic and I'm going to do this?
All right. Well, there's a story before that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay, after I got back from Queens and then coming home, back to Long Island, going through the struggles. I'm not going to make a long story long. You know what I'm saying? Going through the struggles in life. Everybody has that. I don't want this podcast to be involved with another same old poor or all that stuff. Going through the struggles in life. You know, still into my music. I run into a good friend of mine. Y'all might be familiar with him. His name is T.A. the DJ. He goes by the name of Son of Berserk now.
You will say the son of Berserk?
Okay.
I think I heard of him.
Strong Allen.
Yeah.
Right. So it all started with him. He had to connect with working with Spectrum City. It's not even a connect. Because he was the DJ, Spectrum City was the DJ. I don't know if you're familiar with Spectrum City.
Very much so.
Well, okay, cool. Everybody that don't know, Public Enemy.
Radio Lies, I remember them songs.
Okay. So it started with them.
Mm-hmm.
This is way before Public Enemy. DJ crew, hired. Doing community shows, majority of college shows and all that stuff. So TA was in cahoots with them. So with TA brings me to the studio at 510 South Franklin, Hempstead, Strong Island. So, excuse me. So that started my journey in what DJing was all about and the MC was all about. I wasn't that. My mind was on other things. You know what I'm saying? So TA had a group called Townhouse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that was in Long Island that was affiliated with the 510 unit, everybody thought we was making records because they was up at a Delphi College radio station. They had a radio station, which is their podcast.
Right.
You know, coming from a Delphi.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to give a shout out to Hank Shockley, Keith Shockley, Chuck D. What they did, Butch Cassidy and Eric Vietnam Sadler, Bomb Squad. That's what they came. That's what they became after, during the public. What they were doing was taking neighborhood youth and bringing them in the studio, and we're making 4-track tapes or cassette tapes of our rhymes. Playing them on the radio station. Everybody think we're making records. They were cassette tapes. And I'm talking about, we had a live line, we had landlines and all that stuff, take phone calls, shout outs, we writing them down, giving them to whoever's the radio personality at that time, which, you know, Rusty J was the first one up there, Mr. Bill Show, Bill Stephanie. Then came Wild Man Steve, the original concept, Andre, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
T-Money.
Yeah.
The original Dr. Dre.
Definitely. I still
You
got
know
that
what I'm
tape.
saying? Strong Island all day. We ain't copy off New York. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's when everything started happening. Radio station, learning the business is what's happening outside, while Chuck and them still attending Adelphi. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So we come back to 510 in Hempstead, and I know about wrapping cords around the arm, when we getting up out of here, setting up the DJ equipment, unpacking, and stuff like that. So from that time, working with TA and them, Townhouse 3. Like I said, I wasn't trying to be a rapper at this time. I'm not a rapper. I'm still thinking I'm a singer, anyway, in my mind.
Wow.
So what I did, position myself as a boss before a boss come out of there. I was doing a thing called managing them. That was my spot on why I'm with Townhouse 3.
Okay.
So I make myself the manager. I wasn't managing nothing. I wasn't managing a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't managing shit. I was managing them.
Right.
They're like, yo, come on, man. Y'all niggas always fighting, arguing, all this. What the fuck y'all doing?
Yeah. Lowercase m, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Providing the beer and weed and
Yeah.
shit like that, get high. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, these niggas is still with their parents. I'm not. I had my own spot at 16 years old.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I've been living on my own since I was 16. Mom's was there, next door to me.
Right.
But, something happened where I had to have my own place. So.
Right.
By the grace of God, that I don't know where else that would have happened at, but it happened for me. Okay. So that was my journey on learning information that I'm, giving out to you now and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I was their manager and all that shit, right? So here's a time in play where, I started doing a little. I do remember one rhyme I gave to TA.
Okay.
And it goes like this.
Break it down.
Hold on, I gotta wet my whistle.
It's not a problem.
It's lager weekend, right?
That's right.
Gotta wet my whistle for this. It goes, mind over matter, I am the Mad Hatter, I got a fly girl and you wish you had her.
Okay.
That was the first rhyme I ever wrote.
And you pitched that to TA?
I don't know if it was inside of a verse or something.
Uh-huh.
Pitched it to TA. And he wind up using, and a lot of, just to give y'all a little information so y'all can, coincide everything. These records that we had on cassette tape from the radio stations are on YouTube. So you can pull them up.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you did that rhyme and you said that to TA? Do you remember do you remember like a year or something?
No, the rest of the rest of the members remember. It was two of them. It was my boy Jawel and rapper PEP.
Okay.
That's what they call him, Pep. You know what I'm saying? They remember it distinctly. But they put it to me like, you was writing for him. Like, it's not what you say. Like, I was writing everything for TA.
But do you know the reason why I say that? Because I think of that, just when you say mind over matter, I think of that Public Enemy song, Right Starter. Mind over matter. Mouth in motion. Can't do that. So I'm wondering.
It's a small world.
I thought of that too. Yeah, I heard
that's
that.
What
yeah.
I thought of.
So here we go with that. Now, mind you, if you listen to TA and Chuck, there you have it.
Yeah.
Chuck wasn't trying to rap. Let's keep it 100. He'll tell you. So I keep it 100. He was trying to get, ESDOB from Deadly 3 MCs to do it. But I'm not here to tell that story, but the story is there, so I could just tell you this part. Rick was like, nah. You want him. Rick Rubin. And we on one flavor. So, y'all know that story.
Yeah, I know.
But niggas Strong Island wasn't moving like that. We coming together, we leaving together. So, I admire that fight.
So, I'm glad you said that, and I love that you said that. You said Long Island came together, we fighting together. Did you have Was there any obstacles like that you had to come through being from Strong Island, like going into the city, or did you have to fight harder being from Long Island? You know.
No, it's always been the way Rakim said, ain't where you from is where you at. But mind you, I was in my own mindset, being young, on my own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my mindset, there was a lot of things that that I was doing, and we're talking like, okay, 16 I got it. So we let's give or take. 1988, I'm 60 now. How old that would make me right now?
Wait, how old are you now?
I'm 60.
60?
Right.
So
1988.
So
Let's do the
18
math.
would be 30. So that would be 34 years from now. So you would have been 26.
You see how old I was? Still learning life, because I experienced a lot of shit. You know, I experienced the homelessness and had to be out there doing all that crazy shit, you know, at an early age. Still, my boys, they, you know, they had yet left their home and all that stuff.
Got you.
You follow what I'm saying? So
Yep.
now I'm on a path of learning, if you want to look at it that way, you know? So coming in the game, my window, I was going in a back door coming in the game, because nobody knew I was from Strong Island. I wasn't representing Strong Island. I was, wherever I was at, that's what I was representing, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I've done the worst shit to be where I'm at now, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. Those stories get told either, personal or whatever. But, I just want to say, like I said earlier, this show is not going to be about, that shit.
Yeah, no
That's,
doubt. No, yeah.
We skip the preliminaries and the phenomena. Everybody want to know what Sugar Bear. I'm here. I'm in the building. I'm in the atmosphere. I'm still here doing this shit at 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? Still doing this shit. But yeah. So, but the thing is, I'm gonna tell you. Here's the story on what had happened though with the transition for me coming in. All right. During that time, I was out in Brooklyn. All right. Already it's 5'10", we are Public Enemy is out and all this shit. I'm going through a time now at this age, the 26, whatever. I'm going through my thing. But I run into this young lady by the name of Glamorous. She used to be down with the Juice Crew All-Stars.
Yep.
She's part of the Juice Crew. Not used to be. She's part of the Juice Crew All-Stars. Okay? And this is after the Juice Crew. So the Juice Crew All-Stars came later. All right, me and Glamorous was friends in Hempstead anyway. She tells you this story about how we met. We was in a rap contest. I wasn't rapping back then. What I remember with Glamorous was making a beat for her to enter. You understand? That's what I remember from it. But I sit in the back and let her tell the story. But I don't remember getting up on them. I wasn't rhyming then.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't rhyming. I was gift rapping. I wasn't rapping. I was gift rapping. So, during my travels, I run into her in Brooklyn, Coney Island. All right?
Interesting.
Get ready, y'all.
Oh no, I'm ready.
Seatbelt.
Uh-oh.
She was involved with a dude called Tony Dick. Anthony Dick. The gas face Dick. Anthony Dick, the DJ for the original Bad Boys featuring K-Love. Their hit record called Inspector Gadget. She had connect with him. I ran into her out there throughout my travels. Crazy. So from there, that's how I wound up meeting Anthony. From Anthony, life changed because I got myself involved with other shit that was part of that. I'm not implicating nothing. I'm not gonna, just saying but more than likely there was this gentleman by the name of Sugar Dice, who was the road manager for Houdini, living in the same house. My connections and everything started from there. Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue, Seagate Projects.
Okay.
Coney Island. That's where everything started happening for me. I'm grabbing. I don't know. This is when I started writing. Paper bag, toilet tissue, the real shit that niggas used to say.
Right.
I might have heard it in a couple of podcasts that said this is the way niggas write rhymes. Literally, that's what I was writing. If I go in my bag or whatever, I got rhymes on napkins, toilet tissue, paper bags. The same shit that, what movie? 5 Heartbeats.
Right. They all
You
those.
see when she was picking
Yep.
up garbage, she was cleaning up the room, but he was like, this shit. And she was picking up garbage and putting it together. That's how I put together Don't Scandalize.
Wow. That reminds me of Biz, too. Toilet Stool Rap.
That mother with his nose. Peace to my boy. Peace to Biz. Peace to Biz.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my dude. But at that time, that's when, out of nowhere, I started entering a zone that I would never think I would enter. It was so simple. All you have to do is be a part. Just be there.
Right.
So, Grandmaster D.
Grandmaster D, if you
He was the main one after Sugar Dice. Now, I'm getting locations knowing where everybody's going to be at. Me and Grandmaster D was like this at this time. Pick me up, whatever. We at Latin Quarters. Pull up in front.
Wow.
Mind you, Houdini's already out there. One love. Nothing just to have, just one love. No, funky beat. This is the era of funk.
That's my jam.
Right. So, I see TA on the line. You know what I'm saying? We get out the Benz, pull the motherfucking velvet rope on them niggas and shit. Yeah, I am still not together, but I'm together, but not quite together. I'm hiding a few things, but I was with, Grandmaster D. We used to travel and do things together, you know what I'm saying? My boy, So from there, then I got close to Ecstasy. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? But that whole thing right there, and still write rhymes, but then I wind up back in Long Island. Okay? I wind up back in Long Island after that. I can't give you the time, all that stuff. A lot of things was going on, but I wind up back in Long Island. And Woody Rock was down with a group called, that's what I was getting ready to say, Choice 5 MCs, which later on became Seriously Fine
Yeah, I remember that.
under JMJ Records.
get seriously fine and let it on.
Now, mind you, this is way after me now. They came out way later after me, all right? But Woody Rock was part of the group. He wind up going, he's in cahoots with Andre Harrell and the Uptown Kicking It movement. So he was one of the artists under Uptown Kicking It with Finesse Sequence, Marley Marl, and my boy, rest in peace, Heavy D and
Heavy
the
D.
boys. So with the connection with him, that's how I wound up in the Heavy D and the boys' first video, Mr. Big Stuff.
I didn't know that.
I didn't have my record
Yeah.
out yet neither.
Wow.
So what? All right, because I got to go back.
Yeah,
and
I'm
look at this.
definitely
Where you
going
at
back
in
to
the-
watch
in the
that.
video. Okay. All right.
They got me. They hold me down too. They was like, see what it was. I was snapping. That's what I do. I learned that from Chuck and all them.
Right.
They snap all the time. We coming back from party and all that. I'm laughing my ass off. Whatever and shit. They did that bullshit to me. What you laughing at? I didn't know I didn't come back. But then after that, it was a wrap. I dare niggas snap on me now. I don't give a fuck what you got on, nigga. You look like such and such. I don't care you bought it from Saks Fifth Avenue. I'm telling you what you look like in the motherfucker. I don't care what it costs, man. Snap back, nigga. But, yeah, so Heavy D, during a break, I'm snapping and all that stuff. Now, mind you, Groovy Chill is in the video, too. The whole entourage, all the acts from Uptown Kicking It. Now, I find out that Chill and all them from Long Island, from Amityville. They from Suffolk County. I'm from Nassau. They from Suffolk. So I'm like, oh shit. So that even made the click even more better.
Right.
Because I knew Bilal. To this day, I fuck with Bilal. Chill, we can see him when he, not in production. Because he's still in production, doing TV with SCI or whatever.
He's still
Yeah. So, so this is when it really happens. Now I'm in the video. This is the big stuff.
I never knew.
I got some homework to do.
Dude, I've seen that video, but I never put that together.
I remember it, but yeah.
I've seen. They all come in the dance. They dancing in the room.
But there's a part in there where this gentleman asks this lady to get up and dance. That's me. Kango, maroon Kango hat, gray maroon stripe Latigra or Izod, I don't know. That Latigra was like a little under the alligator, right? So I better say motherfucker Izod.
Yeah.
Latigra was biting off Izod. But
I had some Latigra shirts.
yeah, me too. Because it was happening though, you know what I'm saying?
Had some Latigra.
And I had a Wilson's leather bomber on. I didn't have the Jamaica Avenue bomber. I had the Wilson's.
Okay. Oh, I got to definitely.
Yeah, you got it. Right. So from there, little stardom happened because nobody knew how to figure out how to get videos and all that stuff in the hood and all that. And still writing and all that stuff. So now I wind up in Long Beach, Long Island. Run into this dude named, he's a friend of mine still, but GM Web D. His name is X-Ray now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You cleared that. I was sure about that, but that was the question we were going to ask you. You cleared that up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
His name is X-Ray.
Calling Monster Island.
We did Don't Scandalize Mine and Ready to Penetrate at his crib, 4-track. You should hear the fucking first. I'm like, yo, to this day, I'm like, damn. That's what I'm telling my man, my new project, man, I need to have it off of this. I need my new project to sound like this because the way it sound, Don't Scandalize Mine sound back in the days is like, it's like, it was hard hitting, because I always wanted, the boom bap, but I always wanted like sonically boom, boom, bap.
Absolutely.
Boom, bap, boom, like that to me was the hard shit you can hear. But now, as soon as it gave it to, well, anyway, we did that. So now we got it on cassette. Now I'm back at 510. Public Enemy popping. Downstairs was a group, was a band. They still a band. They were called Shabazz. And the leader of the band was Paul Stewart, named Paul Shabazz, lead singer. What he did was bought Eric Sadler's studio, because he had a rehearsal studio downstairs for all the bands coming, record, because it was a doctor's office called Dr. Gant's office. It was a dentist's office. Chuck and them was renting out upstairs. Downstairs, we had little businesses going on inside of music. All these offices that was there, everybody was in the music. Everybody was doing something, ain't make it, but was in music. It was a place, a safe haven to go to
Right.
at night. So Paul and them bought Eric out because he didn't need it no more. He's the Bomb Squad. That's him playing the bass on Teenage Love. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but that's great.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's him playing the bass. I mean, literally.
At the end,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you get
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
That's him playing the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Eric, he plays all instruments.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Hear the music?
yeah.
It's like perfect.
Slick Rick.
There was one earlier. You
That's a good-
brought up Rakim, and they were playing Microphone Fiend.
Oh,
you know?
was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
They know we here.
Yeah, they know it.
They know
we're
bands in the building.
we're infiltrating the algorithm
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
Pandora.
No doubt.
whatever.
That's crazy.
yeah,
God
yeah.
is on our side,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Right there. Timing is perfect.
Yep.
As they say, it's always should be perfect. But then I wind up back in Long Island, at 510, back over there. Now, Paul Sebastian, they've been putting out their own records because Paul had his own label called Coslit.
What was it called?
Coslit Records.
Coslic Lecker.
Yep, Coslit.
Yeah.
Coslit.
Yep.
Coslit.
Okay.
He loved what he heard. Now, he's already mixed with Chuck and them in the studio and all that stuff. So you could say he was an ingredient with the Bomb Squad.
Right.
He had his own ingredient. But he loved my shit and said he was going to put it out. So that's
There you go.
Scandalize
So that's
Mind
okay.
story.
Let's start with some of the records he's known for.
Yeah.
So let's start with Don't Scandalize Mine.
Battle. That situation is miniature, more or less immature. Your rhymes a little bit premature. Need to get up on some new literature.
So how do we get from Coslet to Next Plateau?
All right, Coslet. All right, during the Coslet days, when I was signed with them, mind you, we was pressing records. Records were still being pressed. So we went up there and got mad cases of records and pressed it. From Franklin Wayne. Franklin Wayne was pressing everybody's record in the music industry.
Right.
Manhattan. The record started being played on all the underground radio stations. Besides the fact of BAU, I'm not going up in there with no tape from 510. I'm going in there now with a record.
Right.
You know, I wasn't making tapes. That was Townhouse 3. I wasn't recording. My voice wasn't recorded on anything that Townhouse 3 was doing. But when that came, you know, with the question, to answer your question, was Franklin Wayne, we got the records, and then we started promoting the record at all the underground radio, college stations and stuff like that. But you know, what's wrong right now too, because you know, I get personal with this feeling now that I'm mentioning a lot of people's name that who've definitely been a part of and responsible for this record is a lot of people I might call out has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it hurts me, you know, to like, you know, sometimes I question myself with everything that I've been through in my life, all the negative shit I've done and paid amends for, and all the positive things. I think, you know, why I'm here is because of my personal relationship with God right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And everything that I do, how I walk and everything, I try to make everything way more on the scale on the positive side. You know, right. I feel my experience I have enough experience and knowledge to, like, you know, let you know for a fact, and I keep it 100 when I'm speaking. I'll put a gag order on myself if I don't know what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just listen to y'all. So it goes from that programming cliche, what they say, take the cotton out your ears and put it in your mouth sometimes. You can learn something. You know?
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to episode 5 of People's Distinctive Travels podcast. As we mentioned at the beginning, this is part 1 of our first interview with Sugar Bear from Strong Island, New York. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We know that if you stick around for part 2, there's going to be a lot more stories and a lot more fun. So we hope you'll, come back and go along for the ride again with us. Just want to send a little shout out to DJ Soulbuck, who, in addition to our theme song, which you've heard for all the episodes so far, he also added a little bit of his spice with a little intro part that we put toward the beginning of the episode. So we really appreciate that, and he's always a good friend to us.
The wicka. Soulbuck with the scratch. Yeah, good look. Thanks to DJ Soulbuck. As you said, this is a cliffhanger. We'll have part 2.
Yep.
And thanks for listening. And hope you enjoyed the episode.
You want to remind them where they can find the podcast?
Absolutely. Thank you. You can find the podcast on Spotify, on Apple, on Google, on YouTube, and all streaming platforms. Because Fresh and I are large now. Don't scandalize ours.
That's right. Don't scandalize ours. Or as Sugar Bear put it, or we'll be forced to penetrate. I love it.
Yeah, but you can also follow our Instagram page, People's Distinctive Travels. There we also put up That's what we like to call vignettes, little videos. Also, you can follow our Spotify playlist where we kind of curate the songs that are part of the actual podcast. So
I highly recommend it for this episode too.
Absolutely.
I mean, I recommend all of them, but for this one in particular, there's a wide range of music that really, I think, accents the stories told by Sugar Bear during the interviews.
This is a musical journey.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, anything else?
No. I think it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
A gift wrap. Dude, I'm going to be telling jokes from him.
I was
for
gift
days.
wrapping.
Yeah, I was gift wrapping.